Hey everyone! Today's video is packed with breaking news about Wrexham, and let me tell you straight away, the last story is one of those that could completely change the club's future, and yes, it's the very one you saw in the thumbnail and the title. But before we get there, we're going to cover two other topics that are also crucial to understanding the team's current moment. So stick around until the end because everything ties together, and you won't want to miss a thing. News 1, Wrexham v Hull City, the first home game of the season. Just imagine the atmosphere. Last weekend, the opening match of the Championship, Wrexham faced Southampton, a side that was in the Premier League not long ago. The game was intense, evenly matched, but in the end, a painful comeback defeat. Final score, 2-1 to Southampton, with 2 goals conceded in the dying minutes. It was the kind of loss that stings, but also teaches valuable lessons. In football, though, there's no time to dwell on disappointment. The next challenge is already here, and it's a special one. This Tuesday, Wrexham will step onto the pitch for their first home game of the season. And it's not just any match, it's the opening round of the EFL Cup, the traditional League Cup contested by clubs from all divisions. The opponents, Hull City, another Championship side, who will also arrive hungry for victory. The stage for this encounter is steeped in history, the Racecourse Ground, one of the oldest football stadiums in the world still in use. The expectation is for a packed house, with nearly 13,000 fans singing, pushing the team forward, and turning the stadium into a cauldron. It's set to be that unique English football atmosphere, butterflies in your stomach, the smell of damp grass, and the crowd right on top of the action. Kickoff is scheduled for 7:45 p.m. UK time, 2:45 p.m. Brasilia time, and the coverage will be extensive. In the UK and Ireland, the match will be shown live on Sky Sports Plus and Now TV, for existing Sky Sports subscribers. In the United States, it will be broadcast by CBS Sports and streamed on Paramount Plus, meaning Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney's fans won't have to miss a second, even from thousands of miles away. But it's not all celebration. Manager Phil Parkinson has some serious headaches when it comes to team selection. The injury list is already worrying. George Thomason, a recent signing, is out with a thigh injury. Ollie Rathbone, a key figure last season, is sidelined with a serious ankle problem, and Jay Rodriguez, another important name, is also unavailable. Those absences alone would be a challenge, but there's more. Striker Kiefer Moore, who made a strong debut, playing superbly and even winning a penalty, has picked up an ankle knock and may also miss out. His absence would be a major blow, as Moore was brought in to lead the line and had already shown promising chemistry with his new teammates. Now, supporters are left wondering, can Wrexham really hold off Hull City without these key players? And it's precisely this uncertainty that leads us to our second news item, how this injury could end up reshaping the club's transfer plans. News 2. Kiefer Moore injury and possible impacts on transfers. Phil Parkinson, Wrexham's manager, has confirmed that Kiefer Moore will undergo a series of medical tests over the coming days to assess the severity of the injury sustained in the last match. The manager, visibly concerned, commented, "We'll keep our fingers crossed that it's nothing serious, but if it is, we might need to rethink our entire transfer strategy for this window." The concern is justified. Moore arrived at the club as a high-impact signing and lived up to expectations on his debut. He was a key figure in the attack, won a decisive penalty, held up the ball in the final third, and constantly troubled the opposition defence with his physical presence. However, his early departure through injury left both fans and coaching staff on edge. The absence of a player with those attributes could directly affect Parkinson's preferred style of play, as he has always shown a tendency to keep several powerful strikers available. Without Moore, the manager is already looking at the market, and one name gaining momentum is Nathan Broadhead, the Ipswich Town forward who is also a Wales international. The aim of signing Broadhead would be to increase squad depth and ensure Wrexham are not left without a reliable goalscorer during the season. Moreover, bringing in a player already familiar with the pace and demands of British football could speed up adaptation and reduce risks should Moore require a lengthy recovery period. As a result, the coming days are expected to see intense activity behind the scenes at the club. Moore's situation could quite literally set the tone for negotiations and alter the course of Wrexham's recruitment plans for this transfer window. News 3. Ryan Reynolds' plan and a £350 million Wrexham. Right then, here comes the biggest story of the day. This is one of those tales that sound like they've come straight out of a film, and, funnily enough, it really does have a Hollywood star in the lead role. Remember when Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney bought Wrexham back in 2021? At the time, it seemed like an overly ambitious project, almost impossible to pull off. Many people even thought it was just a bit of marketing or a publicity stunt. But today, just a few years later, what was once a dream is now on the verge of becoming something huge. Wrexham, who not so long ago were stuck playing far from the spotlight, buried in the modest National League, are now firmly in the Championship, the second tier of English football, and are enjoying a historic moment. Just this summer, the club broke their own transfer record twice, first to bring in Lewis O'Brien and then to sign Liberato Kakas. These are serious signings, the kind you'd expect from teams aiming for the top end of the table, and they've only been possible thanks to the financial boost from playing in the Championship and from heavyweight sponsors like the giant American Airlines. But it hasn't always been this glamorous. Reynolds himself has admitted that if the team hadn't secured promotion in 2023, the entire project would have been in jeopardy. He even said the club would have been completely unsustainable. That's because they had invested heavily, paying above-average wages for the league and signing players from higher divisions, such as Paul Mullin and Ollie Palmer. It was a bold move, spend now to reap the rewards later. The pressure was enormous. Players, coaching staff, and supporters all knew that the season had to end with promotion, and, fortunately for them, it did. Today, the story is completely different. Wrexham is valued at around £150 million, a figure unthinkable just a few years ago. But here's the twist. The owners are considering selling a stake in the club for an eye-watering £350 million. That would effectively make Wrexham the most valuable team in the entire Championship, overtaking traditional clubs with much longer histories at the top level. And there's another factor that could change everything. Middle Eastern investors have already shown interest. While nothing is signed yet, an injection of that kind of capital could take the club to an entirely new level. More money would mean more investment in players, facilities, marketing, and even the youth academy. This could put Wrexham not only in a position to establish themselves in the Championship, but also to start genuinely dreaming about the Premier League. What began as a crazy experiment by two actors is now turning into one of the most successful projects in modern football. And if this deal goes ahead, we could well be witnessing the birth of a new giant, a club that, just a few years ago, could barely dream of escaping the fifth tier. So then, can you see how these three stories connect? The first home game, Moore's injury which could completely alter the club's transfer plans, and this potential multi-million-pound sale that could transform Wrexham once and for all. Each of them is impactful on its own, but together they show that we're living through a decisive moment for the club. Now I want to know, do you think the club should really accept this £350 million investment and fast-track their growth, even at the risk of changing Wrexham's identity, or is it better to carry on as they are, keeping the project more grounded? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I'm genuinely curious to hear what people think, and who knows, maybe we can start a proper debate about the future of the team. And of course, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. Here, we follow every step of Wrexham closely, always alongside you, living every emotion as if we were right there on the pitch.